Hernan Cortes, the conquistador of the Aztec Empire. Life before the conquest. Cortes was born in Medellin, Spain in the year 1485. Cortes was a sickly child, meaning that he was prone to illness and disease. Cortes had come from a lesser noble family. Cortes' parents were named Catina and Martin. His parents were not in the lowest class, but not in the highest class either. His parents were part of the middle class in Spain. His father was in the army. He went to study law at age 14 at the university in Salamanca, even though at Salamanca he returned home when he was 16, and his parents were disappointed in Cortes because he did not finish his schooling. When he was 19, Cortes' first occupation was as a soldier for an expedition to Cuba led by Diego Velázquez. In 1504, Cortes left for the New World, which today is North and South America. Working under the leadership of Velázquez, Cortes eventually was given a mission in the New World to Mexico. Velázquez gave specific orders to Cortes about his mission. Cortes ignored these orders and went on to conquer the Aztecs anyway. This put him in disfavor with the Spanish ruler in the New World. The exploration of Cortes. As mentioned, Cortes set off for the New World when he was 19. While in Cuba, Diego Velázquez canceled a scheduled mission for Cortes to Mexico at the last minute. At a later time, Cortes was chosen to lead a fleet. Cortes landed near Cozumel, which is in the southeastern part of Mexico. Knowing he was going to disobey his orders, Cortes could not return to Cuba. With this in mind, he burned and sunk his ships in order to prevent his men from leaving. To get to the capital of Tenochtitlan, Cortes was forced to journey over rocky terrain for 3 months. Eventually, Cortes reached the Aztec capital, which was in the central part of Mexico. On later expeditions after his conquest of the Aztecs, Cortes sent men to search for further riches. On one of these trips, Cortes himself discovered the peninsula of Baja California in 1536. Today, the body of water separating mainland Mexico from the peninsula is named the Sea of Cortes. The encounters of Cortes. When Cortes landed in Mexico, he met different tribes of Native Americans. Some of these Native Americans, like the Tlaxcala, who were enemies of the Aztecs, became allies of Cortes. From his journeys and talks with the other Native Americans, Cortes learned that the Aztecs were fierce warriors and gained lands by conquering neighboring people's lands. When Cortes arrived at the Aztec Empire and when he first met Montezuma II, who was the Aztec emperor, Montezuma II thought Cortes was the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. He initially conquered the Aztecs. Cortes left the Aztec capital to take care of other business. Upon his return, Cortes found that the Aztecs revolted and drove the Spanish out. Cortes later returned with allies like the Tlaxcala. Cortes used different types of methods such as torture to conquer the Aztecs. In 1521, Cortes and his men were finally able to defeat the Aztecs in battle and rename Tenochtitlan to Mexico City. Cortes forced the natives to practice Christianity. After that, Cortes went to Honduras, which is located south of Mexico, to stop a rebellion against him. The exchanges Cortes was a part of. Because Montezuma II thought Cortes was a god, Montezuma II charged Cortes with many gifts such as gold and jewels. An unknowing exchange was that of the smallpox disease. Half of the Aztec population were infected by smallpox that the Europeans brought with them to the New World. Because smallpox was new to the Aztecs, they had no cure and many Aztecs died. The aftermath of Cortes' conquest. After conquering the Aztecs, King Charles I of Spain named Cortes the governor of New Spain. After defeating the Aztecs, Cortes went around to other countries and territories seeking out some recognition. 2 years after the rebellion in Honduras, Cortes learned that he was no longer the governor of New Spain. Cortes was no longer in favor of the king, so he was forced to return to Spain to defend himself. In 1547, when Cortes was 62, he died due to pleurisy, which is inflammation of the lungs.